Welcome to Beyond the White Coat. I'm Kerry Briggs, the host. This is episode number 2. If you want to know the general content of what this channel is you need to go to episode 1 and it'll explain the whole thing. So the topic today in episode 2 is I don't need that much sleep. People have all different types of sleep patterns. Some get, I only need 4 hours sleep. Well, I only need 6 hours sleep. Well, I need 12 hours sleep. So there's all kinds of different patterns, but are they all healthy? And that's what we are going to look at today. So what happens when we get a good amount of sleep and a good quality sleep, and what happens when I don't get enough sleep? That's what we're going to look at. There is a whole industry dealing with sleep apnea that is growing because people aren't getting enough of the right kind of sleep. They're sleeping 8 hours, but because of sleep apnea, they are really waking themselves up, and they're not getting into all the patterns of sleep that they need to. And not just them, but there are other people who, I'm busy, I can't get that much sleep, I gotta go, and they're not getting the kind of sleep that they need. And we're going to talk about what happens when that happens. And how many of us have slept all night and then we got up and go, I wish I could sleep another 4 hours. I don't feel like I slept hardly at all. And that happens to a lot of us, and sometimes it's because we have interrupted those sleep patterns and have not gotten the quality sleep, got into the different stages of sleep. They've done, I'm a retired fireman also, they've done studies with fire departments and EMS of the multiple calls that you get in the middle of the night. And so some progressive type fire departments and EMS have changed some of their shifts, the way they run their shifts, because it's just not healthy. And I am almost 10 years retired, and I still find myself waking up. You get to a certain level of sleep and you kind of wake up because did I miss an alarm? Did I not hear the tones going off for the fire? Or and you have that interruption of sleep that went on for 25 years, and I still fight with that and believe that a lot of it is just because of that pattern, and I haven't been able to break that pattern. So everybody has fallen into that. I could use another 3 hours of sleep or whatever. Every one of us has fallen into that. That's someone who has gotten 8 hours sleep, and I still wish I could go back to sleep for some more time. Yet there's others that will fall into that trap because they're like, well, I'm too busy to do whatever. You fill in that blank. I'm too busy at to actually get the 7-8 hours sleep that adult needs. And we're going to talk about what sleep does. We're going to talk about what happens if you don't sleep. But unfortunately, this pattern of, well, I'm too busy to get that sleep that I need, or I'll catch up some other time, that has crept into some people's being their normal. And should it be? So, what does it do to our body when we don't get the rest and the sleep that we need? That's the real question. What happens inside a person? We're going to look at what sleep does and the effects on the body when you don't get enough. If you go to Genesis, in the first chapter, God, first two chapters, God created the heavens and the earth, and 6 days he created, and on the seventh day, God rested from his work. Now, God doesn't need sleep, he doesn't get tired, but he set a pattern that he wanted humans to follow, because having created us, he knows how we work and knows that you need that sleep. And it's taken us years and years and years and years, and we're still learning on what happens to the body when you don't get that much sleep. He knew that we needed that sleep and rest to recover and heal. Proverbs 19:23 says, "Fear of the Lord leads to life, so that one may sleep satisfied, untouched by evil." Hebrews 4:8-11 says, "If Joshua had given them rest, he would have spoken of another day after that. Consequently, there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. For the one who has entered his rest, has himself also rested from his work, as God did from his. Therefore, make every effort to enter that rest." So there's two kinds of rests here. There is the sleep that you get every day, hopefully, but there is also another rest in that, God said, day 7 I rested from my work, and he set the pattern of that's what was required of people. There is a day you should be doing nothing, and we'll talk about that. So, what does sleep do? Just a slingshot of that, and then we're going to go into it a little more detail. Sleep is critical for the body, acting as a vital restoration period where the brain cleans out toxins, consolidates memories, and forms new pathways, while the body repairs tissue, strengthens the immune system by producing infection-fighting cytokines. It regulates hormones, and it heals the body. It improves your mood, your focus, your decision making. It supports growth in children, and helps you manage stress, as well as manage your healthy weight. It reduces the risk of chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and blood pressure. I bet that there's some in that list that you didn't think me not getting enough sleep would affect that, particularly like diabetes and blood pressure and heart issues. So we're going to kind of break this down a little bit. So the brain and mental health. Sleep cleanses waste and toxic proteins from the brain that build up during the day in the thinking process, which helps prevent Alzheimer's when you clean those toxins out. If you're not getting enough sleep, then you're not cleaning those toxins, which then build up and they form a plaque, and then Alzheimer's is down the road. Sleeps help form new neural connections, allowing you to learn new information and store long-term memories. Adequate sleep reduces stress, irritability, improves your ability to concentrate and make sound decisions. So that's kind of what sleep does for us, for brain and mental health. For physical health, it supports the immune system. Sleep helps produce cytokines, hormones that fight against infection and inflammation, making you less likely to get sick. It aids in growth and repair. Deep sleep triggers the release of growth hormones, vital for muscle repair, tissue healing, and development in children. Heart health. It gives your heart and blood vessels a rest to help to lower blood pressure and the risk of heart disease. They get a rest. They get a break. Your blood pressure drops, your pulse drops, and they don't have to work as hard as when you're awake. Hormone regulation sleep regulates hormones controlling hunger through leptin and ghrelin, stress through cortisol, and impacts weight and overall health. Metabolism, sleep helps improve the body's ability to use insulin and protect against insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. So during sleep, your brain goes into different cycles. You may have heard of REM cycle or non-REM cycle, and we're going to talk about that. So non-REM cycle is broken into 3 different stages. There is the light stage, the stage when you're falling asleep. Stage 2 is deeper than stage 1, but it's still not the deepest sleep. So it's kind of like, okay, I hit 1, now I'm going into 2, and then I get to 3. Stage 3 is a very deep sleep, and this is where the body repairs injuries and reinforces your immune system. So if you're not getting sleep and you're sick a lot, there might be the culprit. Either that or stop licking windows. So if you are not getting enough of the stage 3, then you wake up tired. So you have to get down into 3, and you have to sleep there long enough so that you when you wake up, then you feel like, gosh, I really slept. And so that may be the instances when you sleep 8 hours and maybe a restless sleep, and you haven't got down into that stage 3, because then when you wake up, you're like, wow, I could go right back to sleep, even though you had slept the 7 or 8 hours required for your body. Then there's the REM stage, the rapid eye movement, and this is where you dream. And that makes up about 25% of your sleep, where you dream. The interesting thing is, in most cases, unless you have like a REM sleep disorder, which well, I'll mention it. So your muscles are somewhat paralyzed when you're in REM sleep, so that you don't act out in the dream that you're having. However, there are some disorders where the REM sleep disorder, where you override that and you act out what's happening, and you end up beating your husband or wife up because you've got a behavioral disorder with your REM, because you're believing that the dream is real. So you have the non-REM and the REM. They're both important. and it's important for your body to get into a restful state and repair itself. So when you don't get enough, what does it actually produce? What happens? Some of this will be obvious, like the first one. If I don't get enough sleep, I have daytime drowsiness. Like when driving, and that's why truckers are limited to the number of hours that they can be on the road, and they have to get X amount of hours sleep for the next day. So they have some restrictions. So if I don't get enough sleep, mood changes and depression. You have poor performance at work or school. So if you have kids and they're not doing well, maybe check their sleep pattern. Obstructive sleep apnea, or long periods of you not getting the right amount of sleep. What can that cause? It puts you at risk for heart attacks, high blood pressure, strokes, irregular heartbeats like AFib, diabetes type 2, metabolic syndrome, which is hypertension, elevated cholesterol, and high blood sugars. And the final thing is liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver, which then reduces what your liver can do. It's one of the toxin cleaning organs in your body. So those are some things that can be affected by either having sleep apnea and not getting that corrected, or not getting enough sleep. So not getting enough sleep, obviously, or the right kind of sleep, can cause some unseen things in your body that you may have never thought of, and if not corrected, then can continue. And the issue is that, oh, it's just sleep apnea, or oh, I'm just tired. I know I'm not getting enough sleep, but I just can't. And you think that all it is affecting is my ability to get beyond that tired stage, and I'll fight through it. But what it really is doing is it's slowly disrupting normal functions with your heart, with your blood pressure, with your diabetes and cholesterol, and your immune system, and your muscle repair, and your brain repair. That's a lot of the things that you never see until you're way down the road on it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? Well, your sleep patterns were awful. So, what are some things we can do to help us get the right kind of sleep? 1, reach and maintain a healthy weight for you. Eat correct foods. There's been a lot in the news about this. You need to decrease your sugar intake. You need to start eating the right kinds of food that generate good energy, and not the manufactured junk crap that they try and feed you because it's convenient, because it's easy. You need regular physical activity. You need to try to go to bed at the same time every night, and no electronic devices while you're in bed. And this is really important, and probably the hardest thing in this to do is go to bed at the same time. But the other side of that is, if you're tired, don't go to bed, because you're going to just sit there and you're like, well, I don't know why I'm even in bed, and you fight with that. So if you're tired, don't go to bed. Do wind down things like reading. No, not watching TV or anything like that, but reading something that lets your mind and body get into that wind down stage where it's ready to sleep. Avoid eating a lot before you go to sleep and drinking alcohol before bed. One of the reasons alcohol is people think, well, that makes me sleepy, I go to sleep. Unfortunately, when the alcohol turns to sugar, then it wakes you up. Quit smoking. So, God knew when He created us that we needed daily rest, daily sleep. But He also knew that it was not good for man to work 7 days a week. And He, from the beginning, said, keep the Sabbath day, don't work, don't do anything on the Sabbath day. And the reason is that if you're working 7 days a week, then yeah, you may be sleeping at night and doing some of this recovering, but knew that the body needs 1 day of do nothing, 1 day of not working, 1 day of not worrying about work, 1 day just relaxing, just taking it easy, letting your body, the stress and everything just kind of flow out of you. That you needed that in order for your body to work at its highest level. Shutting the body down, shutting the mind down helps to repair physically, emotionally, mentally, to improve our immune systems. If you are thinking or you're saying to yourself right now, I got too much to do, I can't do this, then this is exactly for you. If you want to be able to function at work, if you want to be not always in a mood, always gruff with people, rude, if you want to be able to do what you need to do and do it at a high level at a short amount of time, you got to get the sleep. You got to get the body to reduce stress and relax and repair itself, repair the thoughts in your mind so that you can do that. And your coworkers and other people will like you more because you're not moody, depressed, and just not fun to be around. With enough sleep or rest, then you're sharper, you think more clearly, and you increase what you can accomplish in a shorter amount of time. And like I said, and people will actually kind of like you because you're not so moody, and that when you're not getting enough sleep, you easily fly off the handle. So if you got somebody at work like that, just tell them, hey man, you need more sleep. Of course, they won't understand what you're saying and probably say something nasty to you, but at least you tried, huh? Right? So the importance, understand that getting the right kind of sleep is where the body repairs itself. It repairs your mind, it repairs your heart, it repairs your organs, it repairs your immune system, all the important things you need to go out into the world and do what you need to do. So, 7 to 8 hours for adults. Don't be one of those, well, I only need 6. Probably not. Probably not. I hope this helps. We will continue this episode 2. And again, if you like it, share it, hit the like button, subscribe, and pass it on.